everyone, welcome in today. My name is Erin. If you haven't been here before, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. This is going to be a weekly nutritional oracle card reading for October 5th through 11th, 2020. So we will do a card reading, get some messages from the universe, God, Spirit, however you resonate with that, and energies that we'll be working with, and then we will go ahead and have a little nutritional discussion, some food suggestions. We work on a physical, mental, sometimes emotional, sometimes spiritual kind of basis to figure out how we can best support our body, mind and soul to have a great week, okay? So if that's what you're all about, then stick around and we'll get to it in just a moment. And if you are returning, welcome back. I hope you guys have been doing well this last week and the weeks before. I hope you're finding some little pearls of truth in some of these readings that you're able to kind of gather and put into your weekly routines to kind of help you out, and that you're being able to be successful in some of those. So if you are, leave me a comment and let me know how things are going for you, and or if you have any questions or whatnot. All right, so go ahead and give me a like if you feel like doing that, thumbs up, and you can subscribe if you haven't already. You can ring the bell if you want to be notified of what's coming up. Brand spanking new every single week. I post on Sundays right now. We may be adding more in, but I'm not quite sure yet. I'm thinking about it. I think it's going to get kind of heavy around here. Lots of stuff going on for the remainder of the year, so. But we'll see. Let me know if you guys want more. If you guys want more, then I'm always happy to help out where I can. So let me know. And yeah, so with that, why don't we get hey, okay. October 5th through October 11th, 2020. Here we go. All right. October 5th through October 11th, 2020. How time flies. So first of all, let's go ahead and get an overall energy of what we're going to kind of be dealing with here this week. And I'm decided that I would like to, since there's so many full moons, like there's 2 full moons this month, there is and I think a new moon like on the 16th, and the full moon's on Halloween. Fun. So let's do the Moonology cards. Let's see what the moon energy is going to be. So we're going to have a waxing moon. Ooh, the energy is gaining momentum. Okay. Yes. Hey, that's great. Because this is positive. So the energy is gaining momentum in a positive way. So that's good news, right? I love that. This is a very empowering time, okay? That's what this is saying. It's an empowering time where we can make the plans that we want to make and act on them. Yeah, finally, right? Let's act on those plans. So we have gotten some action cards about do it, but hang on, but go slow, but let's think about this for a minute, right? The energies and the emotions are really building and rising up right now. So so you're still headed in the right direction. You're on the right path. Last week, I believe it was, we're still there. We're going in the right direction. So that's great. So this is a review time for you, right? Your dreams can come true if you're willing to put in that effort. So review your dreams and just make sure, because when you decide to act and move forward, you want all your ducks to be in a row for the most part. But this is saying it's building, right? It's not just stagnant. It's not saying go slow. It's saying it's a positive card, and let's do it. That's what that's saying. All right, so let's do another card. We haven't done spirit animal for a while, and I'm feeling that, so let's take a peek at that. Ooh, turkey spirit. Ooh, give with grace, give with gratitude and grace. I love turkey spirit. I do. Turkey spirit is a symbol of generosity. a celebration of abundance, okay? And this is showing your generosity through giving freely without the expectation of something coming back to you. And it's not necessarily just a material thing either. You can give of yourself in many ways, right? You can show kindness just by being kind. You can listen, like really actively listen to somebody if they need a friend to talk to. You can do it obviously material wise by, you can donate money, you can give to charities, you can help a friend out if you need to, if you're able to and they need that help. You can give your old clothes away if you're getting some new things and you got some stuff that's in good use and you give them away. That sort of thing, right? And it's what you're being called to do. Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to call up Joe today because, boy, he was sounding kind of down and I just want to check on him and see what's happening. You end up, having an hour-long conversation or so and find out all kinds of things, and he feels better and you feel better, you being called to do it. You're not expecting anything in return. You just want to make sure your friend's okay. And when you do things like that, when you're doing what you feel called to do, it's allowing you to flow in the blessing of abundance, right? So what I'm really feeling strongly here is being loving and being compassionate. And remembering that Spirit is going to provide for you when you stay in that flow of abundance. When you are giving without expecting something in return, without expectations, and just doing it because you're called to do it and just out of the goodness of your heart because you are feeling love and compassion and just want it to be, then this is when you're going to start seeing that return to you, just because, oh, here, you were very kind. You were very generous. What Spirit wants to be kind and generous back, right? Or whatever, what have you, however you want to look at it. But anyways, you get what I mean. You'll start being in that flow of knowing that you have what you need and Spirit will meet your needs and exceed them, really, when you are giving freely of yourself within reason. Don't go crazy. So let's get some clarifier cards now and just see, where we're going to be looking at this in our everyday lives and what we need to know about that. And we got a little jumper, and I gotta tell you, we've been having some jumpers lately, which is fine. The more cards, the merrier, I always say. Well, I don't always say it, but I'm saying it today. Okay, so loyal heart, fidelity, loyalty, devotion, okay? And then we're also going to be, and then we have between worlds in protection position, so transitions, and then we also have a time to go. So we need to go, we're ready, right, to go, move from something to something new. And then why, also in protection position. So what's the motive here, right? So let's look at those. But the first thing I really want to look at is this loyal heart card, because this is major business here, because we have really been working, we've really been hearing a lot about finding yourself, trusting in Spirit, trusting in others. Last week we had a whole big thing, I think it was last week, a whole big thing about, it was either last week or the week before, you're not telling yourself the truth, or somebody's being untruthful with you, or you're pretending to, you're not being truthful to others around you about who you are, right? So this is a big deal, because this says that other people in your life are, in fact, being faithful to you, and you want to show that back to them in return. You also want to be faithful to them because you have certainty in your heart that they are loyal. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's a huge step. That that's what we're talking about here. The energy is gaining momentum. You have decided, I just feel you, for a lot of you out there, it doesn't have to be all of you. Like I always say, it's a general reading, so take what resonates with you. But for a whole lot of you out there, I think you have decided to be your authentic self, and you have decided that it's okay to let people in that are the right people for you, and that you are finding the truth in yourself and really gathering those people around you who want that in return for you, who want to support you and lift you up and be loyal and faithful, and not expect that in return, but you want to give that in return. So that's right in alignment with that. And this is like, well done to you. Well done. That is well deserved, because we have really been getting a lot of hard hitting messages about being truthful and being ourselves, right? And ooh, I'm getting a little emotional over here. So this must be true for some people. I'm telling you what. Good job. Woo, okay. Took a little bit out of me. All right, let's move on for a moment to the between worlds, and this is of course this is in the protection position, and this is, like I said, transitions. It's like a temporary blindness to you. Okay, it's time to let go of having things go the way you want them to, the way you expect them to, because Spirit has other plans for you. And if you'll just allow that to work out, the plans that Spirit has for you are better than what you're thinking is, than what you are wanting, than what you are trying to bring in, okay? What you are expecting. Spirit's got other plans, and it's better. So it's time to let those expectations go, all right? And then a time to go is, and there's endings here. We're walking away from the place where there's nothing else to learn from. There's no more growth. The journey here has ended now. So what we need to do in that instance, when the one journey is over, then we begin the next, right? We don't just stop. We don't stop learning. Once you stop learning, then what's there left to do, right? So we begin the next journey. So this is where we can review the experience that we had, that we're on right now. Bless that experience. Know that you had it. It was working for you, and it was there for you when the time was right, and now it's not, because you know it's at the end. You know when you're not learning and experiencing growth from something any longer, and when it has come to its end. And sometimes it's hard to let go of that, because it's hard to change, it's hard to transition, but you have got it. Everything's ready for you. So go ahead and bless that experience and walk through the door to your new journey. Walk through that door. It is time. Now, but let's look at this before we walk through that door real quick, right? Because we're talking about reviewing. The Y card in protection position is like your intention, right? We have obviously been working to find the truth, but there might be a little left over, or some of you who might not completely been able to find all of the truth that you need to know, or you're a little bit iffy on a few things. And I think that's a little bit of the reason why we're getting this between worlds as well, is just because there might be a little bit left over, residual things for you to take care of, okay? And these two do really go along really well with each other, because this is also saying, make sure you're not trying to get a certain outcome that's not in alignment with your real desires. So this could very much be that. And I really am feeling that is going to be what's happening for a lot of you. That temporary blindness is because you are maybe still aren't, you're still a little bit out of alignment with your actual real desires, not necessarily your truth, right? I think you've really made a good foundation. I think that is exactly what's showing in the cards, but there might be just a couple little tweaky things that you want to review to make sure that you're in alignment with everything, just to kind of add it up a little bit better and just kind of, smooth sailing in on there, right? It's always probably, it may not always be 100% like boom, 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 boom. You might have to work where we did here. We're going to have to put a little effort into this. And hey, that's okay, because we're going to get some stuff that's amazing. All right? We're going to get our dreams here. Okay. I like that. That's great. That is good news. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's pull another card. I'm going to do a self-care card because I really like them and I feel like it's needed. So we're going to do it, and we're going to do 16. Make an altar. Fun. Oh, yeah. So the season has changed. We had the fall equinox. We just had a full moon. So this would be a really good time and to make an altar. Plus, when you're maybe needing to just figure out a couple more things about what's going on, just being in the review period. And an altar doesn't have to be fancy. It's not bad. It's not, doing something you shouldn't be doing. This is simply you having some meaningful things, meaningful items that just, call to your heart, call to your soul, make you feel good. So there's always a mantra with these self-care cards. I have to look at the book for this though, because I obviously have not memorized all of the mantras. So for the make an altar, the mantra is, I dedicate space for my sacred ritual practices. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with having rituals. There's nothing wrong with doing those types of practices. Now, if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And that's okay too. We each got to be able to do our own thing the way that we like to do it, right? But if you do feel like doing, I actually have my crystal grid that I'll be doing. Finally, I'm going to try really, really hard to get it done this weekend, and also my vision board, which I also think is a very grand idea. If you don't want to make an altar, like make a vision board. Okay, if this is a little out of your comfort zone, a little too far out of your comfort zone, make a vision board. And I'm gonna do both. So, and if you're interested in seeing what I do, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a little video about it, teeny tiny one, and show you what I did. And it doesn't have, like, I made a vision board that was very elaborate a couple of years ago, and after I did that, I never wanted to do it again. And it was cool and everything. It was very overwhelming. There was just too much. So I've decided to scale it way down this year, and the boys and I are going to do it together. I think they decided that they are going to do it with me, so that would be nice. And we're just going to keep it to a few really key points that seem manageable, especially with so much going on in the world right now. And it's coming to the end of the year, and it's just seems kind of a little busier to me right now with school starting and everything. We're just going to keep it simple. So for the altar, it doesn't have to be really intense. It doesn't have to be like this big, huge thing. Gather some things that, like I said, make you feel connected, like your spirit and your heart, that make you feel connected to the universe, source, God, however you want to call, whatever you want to call it. And you can just sit there to meditate. You can just sit there and look at it sometimes. You can offer prayers there. Whatever feels right to you in your heart and soul. And there are so many different kinds of altars. Like if you want to make an altar for a particular thing, like you can make them for all kinds of things, for money, for financial abundance, for just abundance period, for fertility, for all kinds of things. You name it, you can do it. And you can use things like you can use crystals and stones, candles, you can use like photographs. little trinkets that just mean something to you, all of it. Anything that's meaningful to you and feels right, okay? And then, like I said, basically all you do with this, with that, is just sit there and focus on it to try to manifest. Like, put an intention into it about what you're trying to manifest with that. Okay, and that's that actually is a really good idea. All right, so let's pull a fairy or a cool card just to have a little extra illumination if we need to, or little encouraging messages, or just to kind of round everything all out before we close. I think this is really good. And we have purity. So purity says, always trust the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it you will find the answer to your question. That's what we're talking about. That's just exactly everything that we were talking about. Purity in your heart. That makes me a little emotional too. So we really need to pay attention to this purity card. Love is always the answer, right? Your heart knows what you want. Don't let your thoughts don't let your mind and your thoughts totally take over. Make sure that you trust your heart's wisdom so that you can tackle challenges and situations with the kindness and compassion, right? That's exactly what we were just talking about. And then this is also looking to see if others need your assistance, and be generous in helping them or showing them the way. That's exactly what we were talking about. So this is perfectly aligned with what we're saying. So remember, love is everything. It's always the answer. We got a lot of hard stuff going on, right? I love it. Perfect. So I think that'll do it for the reading. I got a lot of really good information. This is beautiful, you guys. I am loving this, and I'm excited about this. And I think that we should have a show and tell day. So if you make an altar, like I'm going to do my crystal grid and probably my vision board. I'm going to try to do it this weekend. I might have to split it up into 2 different ones, because sometimes I try to do too many things. So, but I think we should have a show and tell, and I'll show my stuff that I'm doing. And if you want to like do a little picture or something or whatever, we should find a way, because I think I have a Facebook too, so I could put my Facebook down there in the description, so maybe you guys can like share pictures over there. That would be fun. I would love that. Okay, so I won't keep you guys here any longer, because I think that we have a really good indication of what's going on. We're ready to take action. It's positive. We're going in the right direction. We just need to make sure that we have reviewed everything we want to. Look inside our heart. Make sure everything's taken care of, so we can transition into that new journey that we are ready for, to be in the flow of abundance, because we have purity of heart. We are kind. We are generous. We're really trying here, right? So here's where we can like kind of release some of that stuff and have a place where we can see where we want to go, like in physical form, that will kind of help us to just sit and think about these things a little bit. So that'd be great especially for people who need like more visual kind of thing, right? So I'm excited about this. So I'll see you in just a few moments. All right. Well, welcome back. What did you think? I really liked that one. I think it's probably my favorite one so far. I have to be honest with you. I love love. Just makes me happy. Which I guess is a great thing. If love makes you happy, then that's good. So if you haven't already figured out what we're going to talk about today, you're right. It's the heart. Y'all get a gold star. And I have my handy dandy little notes here, because I have several things that I wanted to speak with you about concerning your heart area. I wanted to talk about the heart in general, and also the heart chakra, because I think it's really important to balance those 2 things together in this situation, because we got the turkey spirit card, we got that was talking about generosity and gratitude and giving and being in the flow, right? Being in the flow of abundance. And we got the purity card of the fairy oracle that told us to look into our heart to find the answers that we need. We got the loyal hearts card that talked all about devotion and faithfulness. And you know, how could you just not know that I need to do that, right? So I do have some notes because I just want to make sure that I condensed it down to where it's, you know, not too much, and you can easily implement some of these things into your week, and you don't have to do all of them, right? Like, just take the suggestions that resonate with you and go with that. And you can always come back later to add more if you decide that the things are working for you and you're enjoying what's happening. Now, I do want to put in a little disclaimer. I do it in my description, but I'm going to do it here because we're talking about the heart, and sometimes people get weird about that, and I don't want anybody like thinking I'm trying to tell them what to do if they have heart conditions and things like that. So if you are under the care of a physician or a cardiologist, if you do have heart problems or some kind of a condition already, and you already have a plan and you're already doing something, then for sure you're going to want to keep doing that. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not a doctor, but I can give nutritional advice. Okay. So, but that being said, if you see something here that you do think may help you and it resonates with you, there is no reason why you can't talk to your doctor if you want to go ahead and implement some of these things, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And if you can, you can. If you can't, then you can't. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so anyways, we want to talk about the heart. Now, the heart is part of the circulatory system, and I think that acknowledging the circulatory system is also really key here, because we're also talking about being in the flow of abundance. And when I heard the flow, I automatically just was thinking of lymph and blood and that kind of thing, right? Things that are vital for us to be healthy and alive in this world, right? Physically and emotionally, really. And spiritually too, I think. So the circulatory system, it's your blood vessels, and your heart. All right. It's responsible for removing waste that you no longer need, transporting nutrients, right? Oxygen, transporting the oxygen, and hormones even, to where they need to go. So it's really important for us to take really good care of that system. So part of the circulatory system is the heart. The heart is the pump. It's what makes it go, right? It keeps it moving. So it's important that we are able to keep the processed foods out of the diet. I say it a lot. I'm probably going to say it every single video because it is a very important thing. And especially when you're dealing with the heart, stay away from the processed foods and stay away from those refined sugars. Cause buildup in your arteries, right? It's going to make them, and your veins and stuff, it's going to thicken them. It's going to make them hard, and they're supposed to, you know, expand and contract and flow with, you know, the pressure of the blood that's pumping through it and the other fluids that are pumping through it. So if it's stiff, it can't do that, and upon time, it will just keep getting smaller and smaller and constricting until it's got a block, right? And we don't want to block that. We want it to be free flowing the way it needs to be happy and healthy. So I'm really going to say it's going to be important to stay away from those processed foods, the chemical laden foods, the additives, the refined sugars, and eat a whole food, nutrient dense diet that's properly prepared, right? You're going to want to prepare the things properly too. Like, you don't want to bring home a bunch of nasty oil and, you know, you try to get some good food and you throw it in a big thing of oil and fry it until it's dead, and then you just have, you know, ruined your whole meal because now all of your oils have oxidated and now it's no longer good for you when you thought that you were doing something the right way, right? So we just want to make sure that we are paying attention to how we're preparing our food too, Not just that we're getting good food, that we are paying attention to how that food is actually being prepared. It's very important, especially when you're dealing with trying to make things better for you. It's a real downer when you think you're doing something that's very healthy and that you're really on top of things, and then you find out, oh, well, I effed it up because, you know, I didn't prepare it properly and I didn't get the nutrients out of it that I thought I was getting out of it, and now what, you know? So I want you guys to just kind of try to pay attention to that. I think that's going to make you feel really successful and really put you on the right track there. What's important for the heart? B vitamins. So you can get those out of several different kinds of foods. We've talked about the B vitamins before, so you can go back and look at some of the other videos if you need to, if you want to know about the B vitamin foods. But I didn't include a list of the B vitamin foods, but I can leave that in the description for you, just in case anybody has any questions. Sometimes I forget when I already know certain things, and it's obvious to me that not everybody's in the same kind of industry that I'm in, so I gotta think about that sometimes. Hello. And then proper hydration. Okay, I do have a video on hydration. I am gonna link that in the description below. Having enough water in your body, being properly hydrated is going to be essential to you having a healthy heart. Okay, it's going to support the lymphatic flow. And we're not really going to get into the lymphatic system this time, even though it's one of my very favorites ever. I love it. But it can be a rabbit hole, and we're talking about the heart here, so I'm sticking to it. I even had to make myself say no many, many times because I kept trying to type things out about it, and I stopped myself. I did it. And we're talking about the circulatory system. So anyways, proper hydration supports the lymphatic flow and also proper blood viscosity. So it flows correctly. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, right? Either one of those can cause problems. We want it to be balanced. So, and also dehydration can lead to some of your vessels being shut because there's not enough hydration there to keep them open and flowing. So if we get that, it could lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, right? So we want to make sure that we have enough water in our body to keep those vessels open and flowing and beautiful and healthy. Okay, mineral balance is also going to be a key thing to look at here. And the mineral balance, I have talked about minerals in another video, so I can link that for you as well. But the main minerals that you're going to be looking at here that I wanted to kind of focus on anyways is magnesium and calcium. They work together. It's important for them to be balanced because that's going to make sure that your heart is actually pumping properly. It's that you're not having arrhythmias or it's not out of balance. Those two minerals actually help each other to make that pumping action, okay? And a lot of times people actually have plenty of calcium, and it's the magnesium that they tend to get deficient in. So, like I said, that mineral video will help you with that. So you can always check that out if you need to have some more information about that. Just make sure that you're eating things that give you that good balance of those two things. Nothing to be alarmed about. And you can even do something as simple as take an Epsom salt bath if you're worried about the magnesium being out of balance and you need a little more in there. And it's just that simple to be able to get more magnesium into your system, okay? All right. So the essential fatty acids, all right, essential fatty acids are really, really important to having a healthy heart. So, and also essential fatty acids help to build that cell membrane, and we want it to be nice and flexible so the cell can move freely and do what it needs to do and absorb the nutrients that it needs to absorb and any other thing it needs to absorb, right? We want it to be able to do that, and if the cell walls are too thin or too thick, then that's not going to happen. It's not going to hold the things it needs to hold, or it's not going to be able to absorb the things that it needs to absorb. So we want to make sure that we get the right kind of fatty acids into our bodies so that we can have healthy cells. And healthy cells help build heart, help build your muscles, right? Help build everything in your body. So it's really important for us to, there's something floating in the air. Hello. Goodbye. All right. Time to move on, apparently. Okay. So the balance with the healthy fats is going to be really important here. We're going to want to do omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, and I'm going to say it, and people are going to get angry, but sometimes people get upset at me, and that happens. So saturated fats. If you're eating butter and you're eating eggs, you're eating saturated fats. And if you're still alive and kicking, then, what can I say? We've answered the question. So omega-3s, fish oil. And fish oil for your heart is going to be one of the best things. Get a good one, though. If you're going to take fish oil supplement, make sure you do your due diligence. Like I always say, be your own detective. Get a good one. Flaxseed oil, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, winter squash. Winter's coming up. Winter squash, okay? That's for your omega-3s. Omega-6s are going to be avocado oil, Brazil nuts, eggs, sesame oil, black currant oil, those kinds of things. And your omega-9s, which are monounsaturated fats, your olive oil, your cashews, macadamia nuts, and almonds. All right, you can get your monounsaturated fats there. And then your saturated fats are, like I said, coconut oil, butter, eggs, that type of thing. Okay, so it's important, like I said, to have the right balance. So the ratio, a lot of times the omega-6s and the omega-3s are way off. And I think people are starting to understand that and be a little bit better at that because they're more educated on it, and people, we're always learning new things about it. But essentially the ratio should be like just 1 to 1. Okay, it's just, that's what it is, approximately. And of course, everybody's an individual, we're all different, so if there's certain things that are happening with you or activities that you're doing that needs you to be a little bit more one way or the other, then so be it. It's okay. Now, and like I'm saying, everybody's different too. There are general guidelines though that you can kind of go by, and so we usually go by like 30% saturated fats, 10% polyunsaturated fats, which is the 3s and the 6s, the omega-3s and the omega-6s, and then 60% of the monounsaturated fats, which is the omega-9s. Okay, so that will do it for the fats. So also getting the right kind of fats is important too. I just want to say one more thing about the fats. It's important to get the right balance and the right kinds of fats in your diet, because the fats also help with your body's inflammation process, the inflaming and the anti-inflammatory actions that it takes. And inflammation is a major cause of heart disease now. So it's really important that we address the fatty acids and make sure that we're paying attention to what we're putting in our bodies when the fatty acids are concerned, the fats are concerned, the healthy fats, right? So that we are giving our heart the best chance possible. We don't want an inflamed body at all. We certainly don't want an inflamed heart, right? We want to keep that at optimal performance so that we don't have any issues there. Okay, so I will move on from the fats and I will talk about heart healthy exercise. Aerobic exercises, brisk walking, swimming, right? Swimming, jumping rope, those kinds of things are going to help you out in the aerobic department. And then also strength training is important too. It's good to keep your skeletal system nice and strong too. So the strength training is also going to help. And you can decide how long you have to work out. Your body will tell you when it's time to quit. If you're just starting out and you need to talk to a physician or your doctor to be able to do that first, then do that. If you're already on a program, then perfect. Nicely done. Maybe try something new if you want to do that. But it's important to get some exercise and to keep everything, it's a muscle. Your heart is a muscle and it needs to be exercised like any other muscle in your body. And we don't want to overdo it and we don't want to underdo it. We want to do it just right. Okay. Oh, and so we're going to be talking about the heart chakra too. And the heart chakra also includes the upper back and the shoulders. So you could integrate some lovely yoga into that. And see if, or do some really good stretches. I have a really hard time with my upper back and shoulders, so I'm always trying to find new ways to open that up. So try some stretches. You can find the yoga poses and the stretches by doing an online search or looking something up on YouTube. There's all kinds of wonderful information for you, waiting to be explored and found. Okay, so things to avoid. What do we not want to do? We don't want to smoke, obviously, right? Smoking is not going to help you at all in this department. And try to keep your emotional and your chemical stress at a minimum, where you can cut out any of that stuff, the better. You don't want, like, cortisol can like start raising your insulin levels and stuff. The cortisol, and it's kind of another thing, but if you have that off balance because of the stressors that you have in your life, then that could really mess with the functioning of your heart as well. So we want to try to mitigate that. And the yoga and the exercise will help with that. And eating properly goes a long way to reduce that chemical load as well. So there you go with that. And then also the inflammatory foods. We want to stay away from the inflammatory foods. Processed food, high refined sugar foods, foods deep fried in the nasty fats, right? Those kinds of things. Okay, so let's talk about the emotional side of things. I think it's important to address that this time because love is an emotion. Your heart is love. That's where your heart lives, your heart chakra, right? It's love. Love is everything. Love is everything. Love can heal it all, right? So, and since we got those key cards that really talked about the love emotion, and yes, it talked about your heart, but it really was touching on the emotion side of the heart, right? The generosity, the faithfulness, the devotion, the answers that we have to, doing what we love. So I think it's important that, to just remember that love connects us all. It to everyone and to everything, and not just in our space and time, but forever and always, right? Love is what's going to stay with us no matter where we are. That is what is going to keep us connected. And connection is important. Whether we want connection to be important or not, whether we want to, but even if we're like, I don't want to deal with being connected with people and blah, and the drama and whatever, it's neither here nor there. At one point or another, there's going to be a connection to someone or something that's going to bring the love out of your heart, and it's just going to have to be something to be dealt with. Okay, so and I love love, so I'm not trying to knock love at all. I'm a fan of love. I'm a fan of love, a big fan. I have love in my life. I have lots of loves in my life. Okay, so let's talk about the heart chakra for a moment. To help keep it balanced, we want to be able to give, we want to be grateful for what we have, right? We want to be compassionate. We want to be kind. We want to give freely of ourselves, right? But the key to remember here too is to not give too freely. Like, you don't need to be giving it all away for free, okay? Save some of that. Have those good boundaries established so that you're able to have your reserves left over for you. Because the first thing that you have to do is love yourself. If you can't love yourself, you're not going to be able to give love to the world, right? So make sure that you have the love for yourself and you are able to keep that in your reserves, okay? So that you can keep replenishing it as you give it out, right? And I have noticed that the more love you give, right, the more love you're going to get in return. And that's going to also help to fill up your cup. But you're going to want to keep doing the self-care too, okay? So we want to be in alignment with our truth. We don't want to wear ourselves out. We have to have the boundaries. It's okay to have the boundaries, right? So, good things for the heart chakra. And the element for heart chakra is air. And part of the heart chakra is the lungs. So, do some breath work. Again, YouTube or an internet search will give you all kinds of options to do breath work. Maybe some Kundalini yoga or something. You can do the breath work and the yoga all at the same time. All in one fell swoop, right? That's what I'm looking for. So you got to keep those lungs healthy. Keep that air flowing. That will help keep your heart chakra open and balanced also. Show gratitude for what we have. We did talk about that. Show gratitude for what we have and what's important to us. And it's not just material things. We want to make sure that we're showing gratitude, that we're being grateful for the relationships and connections that we have in our lives too, without going crazy, right? Like I was saying. And then do activities that make you feel love, that make your heart feel light and free, and it's almost just kind of a kind of thing, you know? You just feel a different way when you look at something you love. It just makes all the cares in the world go away for a moment, right? And you just feel light, and you feel just like everything is beautiful, and that's what we want to do. So we want to do activities that make us feel that love in our hearts, not activities that make other people's hearts feel wonderful. That's okay too, but we want to make sure we're doing the stuff that makes our hearts feel light and free and just, full of love, right? So I think, and I think what will help with that is doing the altar, how we got the altar card. And I gave the suggestion too about doing the vision board. If you're not into the whole altar thing, it's totally fine. On your altar or your vision board, make sure that you're putting things on there that make you feel love, that have meaning, a real deep connection and meaning to you. And think about that. Meditate on those. You can meditate to a vision board just like you can to an altar. It's okay. Nobody's going to be seeing you. Do it by yourself. It's fine. But try that. Put the things in there that really mean something to you, that you really enjoy, and meditate on, why do I feel the joy from this? Why do I feel the love? What makes this make my heart feel free and just tingly, right? Make me feel so good inside, so that you can start to really figure out, especially if you have a hard time figuring out what brings you joy. That's a great way for you to start opening up that door, right? And letting that come in and experiencing those feelings and being able to connect with that feeling easily in the future when you find new things that come across you, instead of it being so hard for you to find joy and get the joy out of things. Now you're like, okay, now I know what it feels like, and now I'm getting used to it, and now I'm able to quickly and easily figure out what I like and what I don't like. So I think that's great. And I'm serious about the visual board altar show and tell. I have a Facebook page now. I didn't know it, but I do. I have one. So I'm going to put the link in for you guys. And if you are interested, come share a picture or a little video or something about what you're doing. And just let's remember the community. I really want a supportive, healthy, loving community, especially this week when we're talking about love, right? So as long as you want to come over there and have a good time with us, then let's do that. That's awesome. I think the show and tell would be great. I'm trying to get my vision board done, and also my crystal grid. So I will do that and take pictures of that and put that on there to get us started, okay? If you're interested. All right. I think that's everything I have for you guys. Yeah, I hope you you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too much information. I hope it was just right. But like I said, there's a couple videos that you guys can watch to help you along a little bit and really do some research and stuff, right? Like you want to remember this stuff. You don't want to have to keep looking at a paper all the time. You want to remember it so it gets easier for you to be able to take care of your body and listen to that body. Ask your body what it needs. And then give it to it. Give it to it. Right? Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have. I'm so happy that you guys came in and spent a little time with me today. Always happy to share with people. So I guess I'll see you guys next week. And I will, of course, send you loving and healing energy right now. I hope that helps whoever it needs to help. It always helps me, so that's great. And yeah, you guys have a really wonderful week. The moons are going crazy this month, so remember that. Be gentle on yourself and others. All right, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye now.